After NetherRealm Studios came to be from the ashes of Midway Games and their soft reboot of the Mortal Kombat franchise in 2011, we've been treated to an increasing number of DLC guest appearances in MK titles. So much so that it seems that these days a Mortal Kombat game is just not complete until it features a couple of well-known non-MK characters in its roster. It is all an homage to the time of the original games and the figures that inspired many of MK's own fighters. A mix of comic book and slasher movie characters that bring a flavor of the 80s and 90s right back. But maybe there's room for more? In today's DashFight's tops, we have 9 guest characters we want to see in a future Mortal Kombat game. We are sticking to completely new appearances, so even if seeing Alien and Predator again sounds like a dream come true, we want to leave the door open for characters we have not yet seen in Mortal Kombat, although they can share the same original franchise. Before we start, make sure to subscribe to DashFight's channel and ring the bell so you're notified every time we publish a new video. Nightwing, DC Comics. Warner Brothers have been hard at work synergizing their franchises as of late. The most recent example of this is their Black Adam movie, with its integration into multiverses and extensive advertising campaigns in general. The close ties between the team at NetherRealms and DC Comics makes the addition of Nightwing to a DLC character pack likelier than not. Nightwing's combat style can also be easily translated into a Mortal Kombat game. By all means, he's a normal human who's well trained in multiple fighting styles with access to Batman-esque equipment. He is also a skilled acrobat, meaning that if the next Mortal Kombat game revamps its jump-in and aerial gameplay, he could be a fun and fast character. Just imagine an air-based rushdown character with a handful of zoning tools under his belt and a pair of Eskrima sticks that can, without a doubt, be great vehicles for some brutal X-ray attacks. Quite frankly though, we just want to see Kano rip him a new one after learning Nightwing's real name is Dick Grayson. Seriously, the intro dialogue between those two just writes itself. Imperator Furiosa, Mad Max. Mad Max himself could have been the pick, but much like in Mad Max Fury Road, Furiosa can take the protagonist role and truly shine in it. In truth, there is a wide range of characters you could pick out from the Mad Max universe and drop right into Mortal Kombat. The Chrome Boys alone would be worth adding as background characters in any stage. On a more cold corporate note, a prequel named Mad Max Furiosa is in the works already and slated to be released in 2024. Meaning that if we think there will be a new Mortal Kombat title within the next 2 years, it would make for a great addition in one of the first few pieces of DLC or seasonal content. Speaking of which, if you want to hear us talk about what we hope the next NRS title will be like, including whether a battle pass or DLC content release would fit, then make sure to check out this video of ours. As far as gameplay, Furiosa's arm and its multiple uses could lend themselves to some exciting mechanics, as she has proven to be quite resourceful with guns and knives. A grappler with many setups could be a nice mold for her to take, almost like what Cassie Cage feels like, but without the military training Cassie has.
Become DashFight supporter on Patreon. Gain ad-free browsing on our site. Click the link in the description.
Thor, God of War Ragnarok. This is a callback to a time when in Mortal Kombat 9 we were treated to Kratos as a playable DLC character. Although it would be amazing to see him return to the series to rip and tear his opponents apart, we think one of the major figures in the recently released God of War Ragnarok is more suiting. Thor, the God of Thunder, in all his chunky Northman glory. Obviously, a major component of Thor's gameplay in a Mortal Kombat game would be Mjolnir and its ability to return to Thor. Imagine the possibilities of setting up the hammer in a low, mid, or high setup and then juggle opponents to it, continuing combos, landing devastating last hits, or throwing opponents into the path of the incoming Mjolnir. The possibilities are nearly endless. PlayStation and WB's games department have a good relationship with each other. Although not a certainty, it would be quite fun to see the next generation of the God of War franchise appear in a new Mortal Kombat game, the same way Kratos appeared in the soft reboot of Mortal Kombat way back in 2011. The Mountain, Game of Thrones. Sir Gregor Clegane, better known as the Mountain, is an iconic character from the Game of Thrones TV series and books. A brutal fighter who scoffs at the idea of mercy, his nearly supernatural strength surely fits within Mortal Kombat's aspirations of extreme violence. His gameplay could be that of a knight of Westeros with his sword in one hand and his fist in the other. A slow tower of pain with low mobility but strong hits once up close. A grappler for sure. For those who have seen Clegane in the HBO series, I'm sure you can already envision multiple fatalities that could be easily replicated in Mortal Kombat's gameplay. After all, it is said that he could cut a man in half with a single swing of his sword. On a production level, actor Half-Thor Julius Bjornsson has mentioned he loves to play video games, and we would imagine he would be up for some mocap work at NetherRealm Studio in Chicago to get the mountain's brutality across and into our screens just right. Django Unchained. Django Unchained is one of the all-time greatest Western movies that uses gratuitous and absurdist violence both as a spectacle and to drive its themes. Elevating all that is Django's powerful presence, in no small part thanks to Jamie Foxx's charisma on screen. All these elements make for a tremendous one-off DLC character. Yes, Aaron Black does exist and is basically a cowboy in the Mortal Kombat universe, but just because you have one of something doesn't mean you can't get a second. If MKX's arcade ending for Aaron is canon, he might have lived at the same time Django's revenge took place. Ed Boon has mentioned he watched all of Tarantino's work. Although it might be hard to bring the IPs together for the project, it's also not a pipe dream. Like Thor, the producers of the movie, Columbia Pictures, thus Sony, would need to sign off on the deal. Jamie Foxx is no stranger to voice acting either, although much more wholesome than any Mortal Kombat game. His work as Joe Gardner, the protagonist in Disney's Soul, certainly shows that he's up to the task of delivering excellent lines for the game. Lara Croft, Tomb Raider. A weird theme among recent DLC characters in the Mortal Kombat franchise is the addition of at least one character whose key moves revolves around traps and setups. Predator and John Rambo are the two flagship characters in this regard. Lara Croft, with her ingenuity, could fit the mold of a trapping-focused fighter. Her bow would also be a rare sight among the franchise fighters, but as a weapon it can be as brutal as any sword. In her most recent games, Lara also features a pair of ice climbing hooks which she uses in combat, leading to some pretty violent kills. The Tomb Raider has enjoyed a revival as of late, and with the Embracer Group finally having the full rights after acquiring the remaining assets from Square Enix Europe, the next few years for that franchise seem to be looking up. Part of that is creating a Netflix animated series coming out sometime in 2023. And if that proves as successful as Cyberpunk's Edge Runners in energizing its audience to go back and play the game, then we could be seeing a rising interest in Tomb Raider at the same time as a new Mortal Kombat game hits the stores. Beetlejuice. The Joker in MK11 had a level of body comedy that we think NRS could channel into a classic character from the early 90s. For those of you who don't know, Beetlejuice was an award-winning comedy film centered around a recently married Maitland couple who had died in a car crash and were now stuck in their house as an afterlife. They requested the help of a self-proclaimed bioexorcist to drive away the new owners of their late house as they need it. Beetlejuice, played by none other than Michael Keaton, is an eccentric individual, vulgar and full of tricks. Able to change reality, virtually invulnerable, shape-shifting, and capable of teleportation. A keep-away trickster if ever there was one, with the ability to teleport and conjure up any number of objects, whether to throw or use to hit his opponents. Needless to say, he would be a fun character to feature in the games. Even as a palate cleanser from the grittier action movie-esque characters Mortal Kombat always has in stock. Since the original production company, the Geffen Film Company, went under in 1988, nearly all the film rights are now in the hands of Warner Brothers, including Beetlejuice. Harley Quinn, DC Comics. Shocking, right? Harley Quinn has never been a guest character in a Mortal Kombat game yet. Joker has, twice in fact. So we thought this might be the right time to bring her on board. She fits right at home as a character, much like Joker did for MK11, and would be a great addition. The range of costumes she could sport allows for many great options, ranging from her classic red and black to her contemporary multicolored pigtails. Harley has also seen a huge resurgence in her mainstream popularity, partially thanks to Margot Robbie's portrayal of the character in recent DC movies. She is also in Multiverses, and as we noted earlier in the video, Warner Brothers is very keen about seeing its IP spread across a wider range of mediums. But it's her potential gameplay that truly sets her apart from the other guest characters. Her signature oversized hammer could make an appearance as a slow but deadly overhead attack. Overall, she could be a great mix-up character with many low pokes. Ash Williams, Army of Darkness. For years, fans have asked Ed Boon to include Ash Williams, the protagonist of Army of Darkness, one of Sam Raimi's most critically acclaimed horror films. If you didn't give that movie a rewatch this past Halloween, shame on you, and fix that right now. The film is truly a testament to Raimi's powerful style that, even 30 years detached from its release, it continues to be one of the all-time greats. Ash Williams is, without a doubt, a perfect fit for Mortal Kombat's guest character list. Some would even say that the list would be incomplete without him, and for good reason. Let's see, 90s horror film? Check. Bloody violence? Check. Dark humor? Check. The very fact that Ash eventually has one of his hands replaced with a chainsaw and uses his other hand to shoot a double-barrel shotgun is reason alone to have him blowing up people in Mortal Kombat 12. And to top it all off, if there is any corporate incentive needed, a new Evil Dead movie is in the works and set for 2023. The best time to add Ash Williams to an MK title was 3 years ago, but the next best time is an MK12. In truth, we could have picked more than 9 characters, but we wanted to pick some that hopefully make you think a bit more about which characters and franchises you would like to see in MK12. We can all agree that we want to see a few more guest characters, so it's all about finding out which ones. So that's our list. What do you think? Let us know in the comments which characters you think are deserving of a guest spot in the next Mortal Kombat game. See you next time.